We are excited. We have another virtual workshop coming up, and that will be on November 5th, 2022. That's a Saturday. It'll be from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time. But don't worry, there's a link down there so that you can have a time zone converter. And that web link is storycrossroads.org/all-things-story. And with us, we have Lyn Ford. And the workshop is Resilience, Growth, and the Storytelling Mindset. Ooh, I think all of us, especially the last few years, have been learning about resilience. What does resilience mean to you, Lyn?
Resilience is flexibility, adaptability. I think every storyteller that's working right now has had to find a way to adapt, to be flexible in whatever circumstances. So I started offering this workshop to encourage that and to reinforce what most storytellers are already doing for themselves and others.
Exactly. Well, and what's funny, and in case you can hear it, maybe you can't at all because of our sound systems, but there's flooring happening in my home right now. And there's pounding. I can hear it. And I know, Lyn, at your place, you said there's a construction project happening nearby, and sometimes
Yes.
there's car alarms that go off. I think any of us doing virtual performances or workshops or any of that, or live, have things that happen that are just out of our control, but we go forth anyway. And so, why do you think this topic is so important to you? I mean, you talked about what resilience is, but why do you think it is so important to you personally?
Um, as storytellers, we should be focusing on the story that we're sharing, not worrying about the sirens that went off just a couple minutes ago. Rachel, I was telling you now sirens are going off, or the construction that suddenly begins on the street, especially when we're telling stories in the Zoomiverse. There are so many possibilities for distractions, and that pulls you out of your story sharing if you let it, and people can feel the change in your energy. And when you're with a group live, the same thing can happen. Someone sneezes loudly and you lose your place in the story, or your gesture pauses unnecessarily. And storytellers have to be beyond that. We have to be immersed in our story. And perhaps we can bring that sneeze into the story, and the baby bear sneezed. But that requires a flexibility and a growth mindset that says, I can use this and I can play. That play is so important. And as I said, most storytellers already do that. So for them, this workshop will be reinforcement rather than new information.
But it's not like we've experienced every single crazy thing, or we've maybe heard about it, but then when it happens to us, what do we do? And we can choose to get mad, which might not help in getting the next gig with that venue, even though they'll probably be saying lots of sorries if they realize something. And you mentioned about the Zoomiverse, but even live in person, there's plenty of loud that can happen. I mean, who of us haven't told at a carnival and are like, great, I wish it was a little bit different, or even if it's kind of minor and you have several tents and there just happens to be some bleed, you're in a more quiet story, but it so happens that your neighboring tent storyteller is a little dramatic at that moment. Yeah, so yeah, we have to always be on our toes on that. um,
Absolutely.
and I have to bring up for the very last question is, uh, because you are into laughter yoga, I think you have a unique perspective already on this topic about resilience, growth, and the storytelling mindset. Just real quick, what do you think that has done for you in your adaptability as a storyteller?
Laughter exercises encourage deep breathing and a relaxation of the body, as well as maintaining your focus on the activity or exercise. There have been circumstances where my inhale and exhale, that change of breath, have helped me to resolve some tension in my mind
Mm.
for whatever's going on. For example, the time when I was supposed to be telling to children and someone dressed as Anansi the spider was standing very close and trying to tell their stories as a wandering storyteller. and scared all my kids away by raising their arms, and their arms also had other arms attached as the spider, and the poor babies freaked and ran, and I lost my audience.
Oh no.
Well, I could tense up, which cuts off my own oxygen, makes my heart beat a little harder, takes my mind away from what I'm supposed to be doing, or I could laugh. And I inhaled and I laughed. And, I mentioned to Anansi the spider, perhaps you might want to fold your arms or just move your arms a little less while you're telling the
Mm,
story to small children. That might work. Not tell them, don't do that or get away from me. It was
right.
just, it was just one of those moments where you adapt or die, basically.
Right.
And
Right.
I was going to be there the rest of the day with this person somewhere around. So, um,
Right.
laughter helps release all that extra stressful energy. It can also help you to relax to begin your story at the same time, building up the kind of energy that you need for a story. So, my laughter yoga practice has helped me a great deal, and I encourage it for pre storytelling and post storytelling for people who are really nervous.
Well, perfect. Well, thank you so much. We can't share too much. You're just going to have to come, everybody, to the workshop. Now, again, that workshop is on Saturday, November 5th, 2022, from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time. But don't worry, again, there's that link, storycrossroads.org/all things story. You can find a time zone converter. You can register. And of course, until we tell again.